What is going on, guys? And in today's video, we are going to be going over ways that you can actually hack your brain and utilize this skill and these set of principles to actually become a successful trader. And before we really get into it, all this information is free, right? We really try to do our due diligence and put out value-rich content that you guys can actually utilize to find success in day trading and in whatever niche you're specifically in. So all we really do is ask is, if you guys get value from this, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and send it out to people that you know who are along like the same journey as you, that you feel like could get some value from this.
Well, with that being said, you see we got Jared back. Last week we didn't have Jared. He's good now. I'm grateful.
Yeah.
So look, we're back, guys. And today what we're going to be talking about is not no wishy-washy, write down your goals and you'll be successful. Honestly, we're coming from a place of like practicality. Like, this is what you could do. This is the science behind this. And this is from the books that we read. I got inspired by like Emotional Intelligence 2.0 again. This is my second time reading it. And I was like, with the newfound awareness of a couple things I found in the book and of what my current experience with trading is and in my life, I really found a lot of things. So we're going to be talking about some brain hacks and really some topics in emotional intelligence. And with that being said, let's get into it, guys. Number one way, like I always like to define it, emotional intelligence. It sounds great, fancy word, but what is
everybody likes to use it?
Yeah, I was like, oh, bro, use emotional intelligence. And I was like, okay, Dr. Phil. Like, what does that mean? Emotional intelligence is super simple, guys. It's your ability to recognize and understand what's going on in yourself and other people.
Right.
Your ability to use this awareness to identify what is going on in you and other people as well, in order to have better behaviors within yourself and to have better relationships, so you could understand people. Just like to be able to understand somebody, not to, when you're listening to somebody and you're just like listening to them to respond as soon as they're done. Most people don't even listen. If you really listen to a good amount of people, mentors of ours, they say most people don't listen. And that's one thing that salespeople have really good salespeople have, is being able to listen to the customer and listen to what their needs are. That's what they are able to make sales. This is not a sales channel, but this relates to a lot of things in your life, and we'll really tie it back into trading.
Right, creating any type of relationship.
No, I mean, of course, brother.
For sure.
And one thing that I also wanted to start off with is I'll be able to pop an animation, like right here, or if not, it'll cut away. I'm new at this animation game. We're self-editors, we're self-talkers. That sounds stupid, but it's fine.
DIY.
DIY animation right here. But, we'll pop in this diagram right there. And basically what it is you're gonna see a brain with a spinal cord, and it says spinal cords, and then it says limbic system, and then it says front part of your mind, rational thinking. And let me go to the origin of what this diagram is. This diagram is basically, we function off sight, smell, taste, hearing, and I believe it should be
touch.
Yeah. Trust me. Sometimes I wander off, but it's those five senses. Look them up, Google them. We function off those five, and then really, how does it enter our bodies? How does it enter scientifically? Well, through electrical signals all throughout our body. When I hit Jared, I felt that, and Jared felt that also as well. And guess what? That's electrical nerves. It's cells going to cells to communicating about what just happened, how much pain, and it ultimately ends up where? In your brain. Because your brain tells you how are you feeling and what's the rational thought behind that. So ultimately, like I said, it goes up your spinal cord because there's a bunch of nerves tied up in your spinal cord, and then it goes up. And then it goes through the limbic system, which is how you feel. And then ultimately it ends up to the frontal lobe, which is behind your forehead. I don't have a big forehead, thank you, Mom. But it goes behind here, and where your rational thinking actually is. So, how does that relate to a trader? You're over here, you're like, Rob, bro, it's like you read a book, fam, and now you think you can recite it. I'll let you know how it relates to a trader. And most people, not even just traders. So how does it work? Most people already stay in the feeling stage. Most people allow the emotions to dictate their decisions. And, this ensures you experience things a lot more emotionally before your reason can kick into gear. Right. Most people will stay there. In trading, you will freeze before getting out of position before you're in profit. You could be 3% up and that was your plan, but you're seeing what the potential could be, and you're like, I can maybe make 5%, and then you start imagining so much different things, but you had a plan, you had a rational, predefined plan put into place to avoid the emotions. Right. And now you're staying in the limbic system for so long, and you're like, yo, why can't I get out of here? Like, what's going on? I can't do this. And then, there's so much things we could talk about trading. What was a situation like in your trading career in the past that you felt like froze up? Like you froze up?
Something that is part of like my plan, and I feel like most traders have this as a goal, is like having a very precise entry into the market, right? And when you have a very specific pinpoint that you want to hit where you get the market going immediately in your direction, you could have that fear of like, oh man, what if this isn't perfect? What if I don't get this right on? And going to press the button and trying to get that precision pinpoint entry I feel like it's an area where it's something that I had to grow through, and I feel like a lot of people have to grow through if that's their style of day trading, right? Where you have to overcome that initial fear of like, what if I screw this up?
Yeah, no, of course.
And you can get caught, like you said, stuck in there, and before you get to that rational thought of like, okay, this is your plan, now do it.
I just said the situation with most traders is they get stuck in the limbic system, which is how you feel, and it prevents them from going to the frontal lobe of their mind, which is how they think rationally at the end of the day. And then they get stuck there and they feel like they can't get out and they cannot execute their plan flawlessly.
Right. This is something that we talk about in our course too, where it's like, I'm not trying to plug the course, but it's like
we go more into detail.
Managing fear and greed, like where do they originate?
Yeah,
those are high strung emotions.
Yeah, and how do you eliminate those?
Right, and get to the point where you're thinking from a point of this is logic now.
No, of course.
Yeah.
And then I want to plug in this statistic as well, because we're talking about emotional intelligence, and with emotional intelligence comes self-awareness, and we talk about that also in the course as well. We're going to be front with you guys. We believe in what we sell at the end of the day, and this is something that you need for trading, and you guys decide if you want to make a decision to go or not. This is why we make this free content too, to help you guys out at the end of the day. Really only 36% of people actually are aware of what they actually think. It means 2/3 of the population is not really aware of what their emotions are. They are controlled by their emotions.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying that you have to have a lot of self-awareness, and self-awareness is a consistent thing that you need to do all the time. It's like an onion. It's always peeling back the layers. It's not peeling back the layers and you're done. Right. And onions, there's like a million layers. So you always have to keep continuously getting better.
Right, 100%. And just going off of what you were talking about, where it's like how most people don't know how to use their emotions and how to actually feel them and actually use them for good. One of the things that I really want to dive into is like you were talking very, very great about how to like circumvent them, how to go around them and get to the point of, okay, now I'm thinking logically, and how like the flow of that works within your body and everything. The angle that I kind of want to go more into is like how can you actually use your emotions to your advantage to help you get to where you want to go quicker. And just like what you were talking about with Emotional Intelligence 2.0, one of my recent studies is a cassette series called the Neuropsychology of Achievement, and pretty much like what it talks about is a lot of different like what we're talking about right now is brain hacks and how to use your mind to actually fulfill and create what you're going towards. And like you said in the beginning, where it's like we're not on here telling you guys, yo, write your goal down on a piece of paper, go say it, whatever. And the reason why a lot of these things that people are selling to you and all these different programs on how to activate goal setting and all this different type of stuff, like a lot of reasons like why they don't work. And I can speak from personal experience. I used to write down goals all the time where I spent almost an entire year just writing down goals that never happened. It might have been a year and a half actually, and it's like, why is it not happening? Why do a lot of these like guru teachings not really work? It's because you're only using one-dimensional thinking. And what I mean by that is like, you're only activating one of your senses, like what you were talking about with your 5 senses when you're doing something like this, right? So when you're writing down your goal, all you're doing is you're seeing it, right? When you say it, all you're doing is you're hearing it. You know, you're not, it's not sensory rich. And one of the things that, you know, I really want to encourage you guys to do is to focus on something called like sensory rich goal setting, right? And you can use this for anything in your life, but we're talking about it specifically with trading here, where it's like, establish where you want to go and then create a mind frame within your thoughts of what does this feel like where I'm headed, right? What do I hear? What does it sound like, right? What does it taste like? What does it smell like? What am I seeing when I'm actually there, right? And by creating this 3D sensory model within your mind, right, getting more into the brain side of it, by repetition and by continuously doing this and making this a habit of actually physically going there and sensing where you're going before you're actually there, you're creating brand new neural pathways within your brain, right? So if your goal with trading is, I want to be able to use, you know, I want to be able to make multiple 5 figures a month, whatever your goal is, multiple 6 figures a month, and I want to be able to utilize this to have, and then insert there. I want to be able to retire my family. I want to be able to, some people are motivated by traveling, right? They're motivated by experiences. I want to be able to travel more. Okay, well, where do you want to go, right? If you want to go to Maui, Hawaii, right? What does it look like? What are you seeing? What does the sunset look like? What does it smell like, right? What do the waves smell like? Like you need, like, what does the sand feel like in your toes? Like you need to feel all of those things, see all of those things, and experience all those things to really get it to work. So take this principle and really utilize it when you're actually physically trading. Emotions are, right, we teach you how to get around them and how to think logically, but outside of it, right, how to actually tap into the power of your emotions to actually change like the chemical makeup of your brain.
Man, bro, that was you're just really good with like explaining information really good. Like he has a photogenic memory, bro. He's that guy in high school that you'd be like, bro, you didn't remember the answers? I was like, no, sir. Like I'm just trying to get by. This is algebra 3. Like I don't care, bro. I'm just trying to pass.
Right.
But very well said, bro.
I appreciate you.
The more intense your emotions are, the greater likelihood of them dictating your actions. That's one of the things that I also learned in emotional intelligence. You know, when usually like let's say, you know, when you're super angry, you know, like that's gonna dictate your actions. Most likely when you have intense actions, that's when you produce a lot of results. It could be negative or positive. You ever been angry and it could go one out of 2 ways? You could just be very revengeful and spiteful or cursing something out or doing something in a bad way. Or on the opposite, you could use that anger to turn it into what you actually want. Like you get so pissed off. I mean, I've been there before. You're like, yo, I'm gonna use this anger to like I had to look at myself in the mirror and be like, hey bro, you're a fat freak. Like go to the gym. Like, do you really like how you look? Right. Like you had to make yourself very angry and you're like, bro, really? I had to put all the blame on myself and I was like, yo, I'm gonna go work. Or on the vice versa, you could be super happy. You know, well, have you ever been super happy and then you're just in your room just looking at a wall? No, because it sounds so stupid. Right. It's like, hey bro, I'm so happy. It's like, okay, go use your happiness to go produce results in your life. Right. Go spread it with other people. Go serve. Go share that with other people. Then they go put it towards your results in your life, to who you're gonna be in 10 years. The more intense your emotions are, which is something that I learned and I've been using a lot in this coming new year, is like you will get so much more out of it. Like try to channel that anger towards something that could completely turn around in your life. So we gave you a couple actions, but I want to be a little bit more detailed about the actions that we give today for you to do. You know, some actions to overcome some emotions and everything thus far is like, I'm going to give you 3 and I'm going to go into detail about it. So number one is going to be journal your emotions. Number two is going to be, try to let the emotions pass by, to not react to them, respond to them like as they come in, because being impulsive is the last thing that you want to be. As a trader, if you're impulsive, you're not winning. I'll just tell you that much. Right. And then the third thing is to ask yourself, is this really going to serve me into the person who I'm going to be in 10 to 30 years to 40 years? What's Jared going to be like in 30 years? If Jared flips out right now because an iPad just turned off on him, like, is that going to serve him in 10 years? No, like, you're going to forget about that. It's like, that's not going to serve. Right. But guess what? Him actually taking this information and going apply it in his life, it's going to put him in a greater position, and the person that he wants to become in 10 to 30 years, at 30, at 40, at 45, 50, 60. So yeah, those are the three. And, journal your emotions. How many times have we said journal in like all these videos? Yeah. A lot of times. Journaling your emotions is amazing. I journal in the morning and everything thus far about what I'm gonna get done in the day. Powerless. Shout out to Andy Frisella. Like I got that book and it's so amazing. It's just predefined and I just love writing it down. But like journaling in your trades, that's everything. We always tell you to what? Journal your trades. Yeah. How are you gonna learn? Where performance is measured, performance improves. Yep. It's in everything that you do. I'm right now in a weight loss journey, and I've been through the route before. I've been leaner before, but I've always been to the fact of I know the portion, right? And then I actually decided to take it more seriously because I've tracked my macros before, and I was always like, oh, why am I not leaning? Why am I staying the same? Mind you, I knew the fact. Majority, everybody here knows what they need to be doing to go to the next level. Right. Sounds so corny. Oh, next level. To reach a better aspect of your life, because it could always get better. But guess what? What I started doing, I started tracking everything more. I started weighing everything a little bit more. When I started tracking, I could actually see what I was intaking. Right. And then I was able to cut like 7 pounds in a week. Mind you, the fact I've done this before, it's a matter of fact of discipline. So exactly, just journal how you can get better. Like I said, measure everything. And Jared will go into the second one, which is try not to act on your emotions like immediately, and let them and give it some time before you respond.
100%. And really, just the main point with this one is the difference between reacting and responding, right? And like you said, with how information gets passed through your brain, the first thing that you're going to naturally experience is the emotion, the feeling. And like if somebody cuts you off in traffic, the reaction, right, would be to be angry, to be annoyed, to reproduce and spit out whatever you're currently feeling, because that was the first sensory piece of information that your brain experienced. But responding is, I think of it as like delayed reaction, right? So instead of taking that first emotional feeling, it's like, okay, like what you were saying, let me process this now. And once the information gets to the logical and the rational part of my brain, one of the things that like I always just use to like laugh it off is like, yo, man, that person just has to go to the bathroom, right? Yeah. Where it's just like you're like, okay, this really, and what I'm thinking about logically when I'm saying that, you know what I mean? It sounds funny and it like it brings some humor to the situation when most people would be annoyed, right? It's like what it's doing logically is like, you know what, this really isn't a big deal. Yeah. And I'm realizing the situation for what it is, and it's like, is this really worth being upset about?
Yeah, you're choosing to find the good in the situation.
Right. And I'm responding from a standpoint of, dude, I'm healthy, I'm fine, everything's all good, I'm gonna get to where I'm going anyway, and in the grand scheme of things, it's not really a big deal.
Yeah, super true. So that was pretty good set, bro. Fire. And the last one, I've already explained it pretty good, which is ask yourself before, is this gonna serve? Ask yourself if being emotional like this is going to serve the person that you are in 10 to 30 years. It could be good and it could be bad. If you're like, yes, this could serve me better, then do it. If it's not gonna be productive, then don't do it. At the end of the day, guys. And with that being said, like, we appreciate you tapping back in. 2022, as corny as it sounds, like, definitely me and him both like recollected about the type of people that we are, and we really want to have more prep and more value to come to this channel. And we want you guys to be able to take a lot from this, and a lot of things that you can write down, and a lot of things that you can apply. We aren't going to give you things that that you're going to just be like, wishy rainbow cupcake world, and then you just like you just go on it and you didn't take nothing from it. We want you to take things from it because we value you and we're grateful for you, every person that is watching this video. And with that being said, be able to like, comment, subscribe, share us to your friends, share it to your like-minded friends, people that started trading. We all go through certain things in our lives and that we learn. At the end of the day, these are not things that we have created ourselves. These are things that we discovered through books, through audios, through things. Right. And that's why self-awareness is so important. And through self-development, through personal growth, reading books, audios, listening to YouTube channels like ours.
Years and years of doing it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's building the foundation and it's building the person that you want to become in 10 to 30 years. Guys, we really appreciate you and we will see you in the next video.